Hello, Chill Zone. This is marking out. I'd mess it. Okay, I'm keeping it. This is marking. Welcome to marking out. I'm new. I'm civil. Hi.
And my name is Rye.
And okay, so give it. Welcome to marking out. This is a brand new show. Yes, which is all about the sport of professional wrestling, because we like wrestling.
Absolutely.
And it's
you want to say why you like professional wrestling, or I mean, I don't know. I guess it's all up to you.
I'll say why I like professional wrestling, because I like it. Anyway.
Is that all?
Yeah, I like it because I like it. It's good.
I guess my reason for liking it, and I only say this because people are like, "Oh, but it's just people slapping each other. Look at those men touching each other." The reason why I like it is, hey, I'm into acting, I'm into theater, all that good jazz and stuff. And so I appreciate the ability, I appreciate the athletic ability, and I also appreciate the acting ability. Even though not everybody can act, but I am very fond of the combination of athletics and acting.
So let me get this straight. You appreciate that ... dive ability. That's what you appreciate.
Do you want to talk about that? I mean, it's a bit old at this point, but like
it's like a week.
If you wanted to talk about
it's a
Randy,
week old.
yeah.
Nah,
yeah.
There's no point.
Okay.
Because to be fair, he just took Drew Gulak's gimmick and made it a thing on Twitter.
It would be really funny, like if Randy and Gulak teamed at some point, but I just don't see it happening. Because you saw the picture that he posted, right?
Yeah, I saw that picture.
The no-fly zone thing. Actually, no, were you the one that posted the picture?
I might have been.
I'm not sure if anyone posted the picture. I just saw it on an article.
By the way, if you're not a fan of wrestling and don't know what we're talking about,
yes, absolutely.
Something happened.
That's a good thing.
I'm not going to explain it because it takes too long. Just know that ... dive and ... headlock are both jokes in the community now for no apparent reason.
Well, I guess I'm not sure if I know how to like explain this in a brief way. Okay, there's wrestling, and then for those who are what they call casual fans, that means that you just primarily watch WWE or whatever. But dive is referring to indie wrestling. That stuff like the guys that you see nowadays, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, all those guys come from the indies. You may hear them say indies on the show, and you're like, oh, what's that? That's stuff like ROH. That's stuff like NJPW. If those are things that you might want to check out, you can check them out.
I'm going to put my bum in here real quick. I don't think NJPW is really the indies anymore.
I mean, yeah, to be fair. I mean, honestly, they've been around.
ROH still is, but WWE will call them the independent circuit. New Japan are their biggest competitors right now.
Yeah, it really is.
Definitely
honestly.
not Impact.
Yeah, because NJPW came to be around 1972, and WWE, when they were real, they came out probably like in the early, what is it, 1910s, 1920s? I can't quite remember.
WWF.
No, I'm talking about early WWE.
So, WWF.
I don't know which one it was.
It
I just
started
know
out as
been around.
WWW. It might have been 4 W's.
I'm not sure which one it was. I just know they've been around for a very long time, and at least considerably longer than NJPW. Probably like a good 40 years more or more.
Yeah, but NJPW, if you don't wind up in WWE, if you wind up in NJPW, you still made it in like the business.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's essentially what it's referring to. Dive is referring to, there's the style compared to back then. I know some of you guys may be familiar with some names. Like, I guess let me just leave it at The Rock. The Rock is one of the most popular, I guess, A-list celebrities right now. He was around during the time and it was like more centered around character than it was like, oh, wrestling and, grappling and good old submissions and, oh, well, flips isn't really too much of wrestling, but it's a good chunk of wrestling right now. And so Dive is pretty much poking fun at indie wrestling. And, it really would take a while to describe once you mentioned it, because there's things like selling that have to be mentioned and all that stuff in terms that people may not be familiar with.
The basis of it is Randy Orton got on Twitter one day, took shots at the indie wrestling community. The indie wrestling community took back. Orton then retweeted something that someone posted. I can't remember who. It wasn't Orton, it was a retweet. And it was like this long thing of someone saying, I'm sorry, I don't have to do a bunch of flips and stuff, just get a pop from the crowd. I have to walk into an arena, and all I have to do is have my name on there, and like it's called putting butts in seats. I don't have to dive or something.
No, I actually think Orton said that because he was saying that they had sold like they had made like $5 million on SmackDown
or
tour
something. But then he took a shot at Bully Ray on the
Ray.
Indies,
Yeah.
Bubba Ray to everyone else. If you're older and don't keep up with stuff, he's Bully Ray now because he's not with the company. He took a shot at him, and things kind of hit the fan a little bit. He made some good entertainment because I got to watch it like live on Twitter.
Yeah.
Someone wrecked Orton though with that.
Huh?
Like someone tweeted him. Like I was just looking through the comments. I think I mentioned this in the Skype group. I think, but someone I can't remember who it was. I like say their Twitter handle, but they were there as like, so Orton's feelings towards the indie circuit, so how the ratings for SmackDown Live are right now. ... Dive.
Oh yeah, that is, yeah. I guess I can. Okay, let me see. And this is the post that Randy made. He said, "Every indie match now: handshake, drawn out move exchange. This is awesome chant, strike exchange, dive, no sell indie strong style." Actually, no. That's not the one that I wanted. I wanted the insult to Bully Ray.
Gonna say, like... oh no, the insult to Bully Ray was something like, right. What happened was, after Orton retweeted that, Bully Ray posted a picture of him jumping off the top or middle rope, and he said, I think he might have put ... dive or something, and then Orton was like, "That's not a." Like he said something along the lines of, "That's not a young guy jumping. That's an old guy falling."
Yeah, that's exactly what.
And then Bully Ray just repeated with ... fall better than House of Horrors. Because House of Horrors was shit.
It really was. I mean, like WWE kind of has they have a habit of, I guess,
taking an idea. They take an idea that seems good, roll it out, take a match, light it, and set it on fire. They just burn it completely, and it makes no sense.
It's really sad, unfortunately. Like it's like you get hyped for it, but then eventually, as a fan, you just get kind of used to. Yeah, this is more than like there's a good chunk of a percentage that this is just really going to disappoint me. Yeah,
that's why. Look at one of the last biggest things in the wrestling community in general was a guy called Daniel Bryan. If you look at his rise to the championship, that's what WWE is nowadays. A bunch of disappointment until the fans force them to give them the payoff they want.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, yeah, this I found it. It was Randy Orton actually did make this comment. To the response that he made, he said, "Sorry to the indie marks. Indie guys and old timers who do dives took offense. Just having a good time over a few drinks in Denmark, closing the SmackDown Live tour while beating Raw and making over $5 million in the last 11 shows. Now I noticed some that doesn't equate to a standing room only crowd of 150 people paying $8 in an armory somewhere, but in the big boy world that's called putting butts in seats. Sorry, can't say the word. So enjoy your flips, dives, and 20 super kicks per match. To each their own. I'll go dive into my 13th title reign and get ready to flip when my bank statement comes in this month. ... Headlock."
Can I point out who ended that 13th title reign? Jinder Mahal. And it annoys me, but Jinder Mahal Jinder Mahal, no, say he's been around, 7 years? People should know who Jinder Mahal is.
But I honestly, I didn't even know he was that young. He's been around so long, I didn't know he was so young.
Jinder Mahal's technically a vet, but Jinder Mahal was a jobber for 7 years, and he just won the WWE Championship of Randy Orton. A jobber is someone who doesn't win, by the way.
I mean, oh yeah, we gotta make sure we mention these terms. Sorry. To those who are not familiar with them. I mean, I guess once I think about that, it does kind of bother me that he got the title before Randy. But mentioning why he got the title, just, in case people aren't following, behind the scenes stuff, and you may be a WWE fan,
much more.
But you don't know about it. WWE, if you're not familiar, they're doing an expansion in India right now. And they are even releasing like Indian exclusive television shows and stuff like that. And so for them to put the belt on Mahal, more than likely, that doesn't only have to do with his substantial change of physique. if
Good.
you're not, yeah, if you're not already familiar with Vince McMahon likes big sweaty man. Yeah, his physical appearance most definitely had to do with him getting the title. In Jinder Mahal's words, Vince likes to repay hard work.
If that were true, Dolph Ziggler would be a 15-time world champion by now.
We all know what that hard work is pertaining to.
Jinder
That
being
being
tall, muscly, and sweaty. And a man.
Yes, exactly. But there you go. Those are the two main reasons. He's big and muscular and sweaty. And he's also Indian, so it aligns with their business plans right now.
He's Canadian.
Well, yeah, but like
here's the issue I have with it. They don't Sami Zayn it and like
though.
mention like the stuff like that. But like they book him from India. He's billed from India.
I mean, well, they do that with wrestlers all the time.
It annoys me because like they're pushing him as the Indian sensation and stuff. But why don't they just say from Canada on way of India like they do with Noam Dar? Because
I don't know. They
Dar's
never do that
billed
with
from
wrestlers.
Scotland and Israel, I think. I think he's billed from both. Or he was in like CWC.
Was I don't know. I thought Noam was originally like an Israeli or something.
He was born in
remember.
Israel and then moved to Scotland when he was 5.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's what it says. He is an Israeli-Scottish professional wrestler.
He's also probably going to feud with Aries after Aries wins the belt. Anyway.
Yeah. But I guess getting back to that, I mean, we've broken off from so many tangents because I was about to mention something. Oh yeah, I was about to mention the fact that Ryback commenting on like everything now.
Oh yeah, because everything is Ryback's idea.
Yeah, apparently, because apparently there was like an interview or whatever. They asked him about the extension in India, and Ryback was like, they're a really beautiful culture and everything. And whenever I was going on tour with WWE in India, it was pretty fun. It was a pretty cool experience. But he said there's no effing money in India, so he doesn't see the potential there. Yeah, that's what he said. That's exactly what he said.
Is he an idiot? Wait, no, it's Ryback. Of course he is. Did you see the stuff when he first left the company that he was charging like $1 million per appearance or something stupid?
No, I didn't see that.
He started charging something stupid for like per appearance. And then guys like Cody can show up in Japan, then in WCPW, then in ROH in the span of 3 days.
Also, actually, no, yeah, we didn't mention WCW. Those are, other promotions. If you want to check those out, which you should, if you're a fan of professional wrestling, you should really check that stuff out because maybe, hey, you're a fan of Samoa Joe, you're a fan of Seth Rollins, you're a fan of CM Punk, Daniel Bryan. Guess what? All those guys came from places like ROH, WCPW, NJPW, stuff like that. So, like, yeah, you should check that out for maybe more people that you haven't seen. And more than likely, more people that you will be seeing in the next couple of years may be coming from that place. So just kind of putting that out there.
And that also gives them the quote-unquote new up-and-coming stars through the ranks. And also the biggest competition to the WWE and everything they do right now, very arguably, which is Bullet Club. Just straight.
Absolutely. If you've seen the club is basically like I would almost say a parody of that, considering the fact that they were serious in the beginning, but then I was kind of happy when they got the titles, and I was like, hey, they're finally being respected.
And the Hardys came back.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. Pretty much, if you remember the club from WWE, like when AJ was there, imagine that with 8 other guys, a extremely charismatic leader who isn't Southern, 2 guys who really like to super kick, a villain, Cody Rhodes, and a bunch of other Japanese people, all in a group, but are running rampant in Japan and Ring of Honor right now.
And also, even if you're not like a big fan of wrestling, you may have heard about Kenny Omega versus Okada just like by the fly. Kenny Omega being I guess technically Kenny Omega is the official leader now. Because it used to be kind of like there was a dispute on who's the leader, but now that Adam Cole is not there, it's just kind of like straight up.
He was always
Kenny
leader,
Omega's group.
but the way I think they described it in kayfabe was Cole was an alpha, Omega was an alpha, and they were just butt heads.
Yeah.
Like, Omega was number 1, Cole was number 2. Kind of like when AJ was there, AJ was number 1, Omega was number 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Kenny Omega, one of the best wrestlers in the world today.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's another reason to watch NJPW if you. That's also where Shinsuke Nakamura came from, so throwing that out there too.
And
if
AJ
you're a really
Styles.
big fan of, yep, if you're a big fan of all those guys, you might want to check out where they came from.
And Finn Balor.
I mentioned Finn Balor.
Did you? You might cut out. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, I did mention Finn Balor. Also an array of other wrestlers that are in NXT if you watch NXT. Roderick Strong came from there, but he knows how I felt about Roderick Strong.
She doesn't like Roddy that much, because to be fair, he has no character.
He really doesn't. That's my big issue with him, and that's because I already mentioned in the very beginning the reason why I like wrestling, and the fact that he has no character kind of takes away half of
See,
that.
I'm completely different with that. My reason for liking wrestling isn't just because it's good, because I feel like people might actually think that because it's the internet and not everyone's the smartest person on the planet. I like professional wrestling for those moments, and they're very few and far between, especially in WWE nowadays. But like with indies and stuff, you get it a lot more often. Those situations where it gets your blood flowing and you feel the adrenaline of a match, but you're sat at home. Like you'd be sat on the sofa or couch if you're American, and you sit there, but you feel your adrenaline go by watching something like Omega versus Okada or AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura from last year's Wrestle Kingdom.
For you guys that don't already know, I'm pretty sure if you just saw the recent episode of SmackDown, they did a whole little stare down. People that are following wrestling other than WWE may be familiar with that. But yeah, if you're like, oh, what's the deal with these two guys? Why is everyone all excited about this? Well, that's the reason why, because they did a really good match at Wrestle Kingdom as well, the previous from Wrestle Kingdom 10.
Didn't that win last year's match of the year from Meltzer?
I believe it did.
I think
AJ Styles versus Nakamura. I think it did. I think it was at least a 5-star match, because I think the only ever 6-star match was Kenny Omega versus Okada.
Yeah. By the way, when do you think they're going to pull the trigger on Styles Nakamura? SummerSlam or Mania?
I wouldn't be surprised if they waited till Mania, considering how great of a review that it got.
It's WWE,
they fought for the title.
It's them, though.
But the money there, though.
They could always book it as match 1 is at SummerSlam, the rematch. Say they have match 1 and it ends dusty or something.
Uh-huh.
Like, they could have one of them have the belt, they have the match and Rusev interferes or something. And then they have, the proper match at Mania. Because there's no way they're not going to have them. They're the 2 top guys on SmackDown now. And there's no way they're not going to have a match between now and a year from now.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Sorry, my brain was just all...
They're going to have to hold off on Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles for a year.
I don't think they're going to hold it off that long, especially not after a freaking stare down.
Everyone wants it, though.
They really do.
If they push it back, they've got to make it that has to be the main event. That has to go on last.
Yeah. I mean, those two are technically, the best wrestlers in the WWE right now. Even though we mentioned that Kenny Omega is one of the best in the world, AJ Styles and Shinsuke are too. Especially AJ Styles. That dude can just do anything. He just does everything perfectly. He lands like a cat, no matter what he does. Even if he's, working a sold injury. I'm not sure if anyone saw the pay-per-view, but the pay-per-view last week,
Backlash.
Yeah, Backlash, because he knows that I forget names easily. He was supposed to be faking a leg injury or something. Or was that on SmackDown when he faked leg injury?
He got it on SmackDown because Owens hit him in the back of the knee, and he had to continue with it through Backlash because that was how Owens won.
Oh, yeah, that is right. Was it at the pay-per-view when he tried to jump off and he landed perfectly on one leg for the forearm?
No, because he missed the forearm.
Yeah,
he went for the forearm and slipped.
When they did the replay of the slip, he perfectly slipped. he tried to do it on one leg. You could see that his one leg landed on the rope, but then he,
Oh, yeah.
executed the fall.
I think I was busy making Jinder Mahal puns at that point. I think.
Oh.
I was doing something and wasn't paying attention, because that match
Oh.
kind of bored me a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Like, it was probably Jinder Mahal puns, because at the time, Jinder Mahal puns were amazing, and then the end of Backlash happened and I wanted to kill myself. I have very strong opinions against Jinder Mahal.
I mean, it's understandable. I mean, he's a jobber, but, I know you said you could go on and on about Jinder Mahal.
I could, which is why my one argument is, why couldn't they just push Sami Zayn? Why not do that? Like, he wins, he's not a jobber, he's a face, he's a main eventer technically, and also that gives him a reason to turn on heel.
I mean, I don't know, maybe... The funny thing is, too, is that he's actually, I think, isn't he Arab? He's just redheaded.
No, he's born in Canada. But I think he's Muslim, I think.
All I know is that he speaks Arabic.
Yeah, because the thing on his tights, like, that's Arabic for Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn, or if you translate one way, okay, because wrestlers have different names on the independent circuit due to WWE copyrights and stuff.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn needs to wrestle as El Generico, which translates in Spanish to the generic one. And either Sami Zayn translates in Spanish to El Generico, or El Generico translates to Sami Zayn in something else. Somewhere along the line they translate for each other, and it's pretty cool, I guess.
Oh. I mean, I guess that's understandable, but I think the only reason why they did that was because of the expansion and the fact that he's big and muscular. I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure Vince had everything to do with that decision. Almost everything to do with that decision.
Because he rewards the hard workers, yet Dolph Ziggler isn't a 14-time world champion. No, to be fair, if he rewarded the hard workers, Dean Ambrose would not be losing the Intercontinental title at Extreme Rules.
Oh, that is true. He's had the most.
Ambrose had the most matches last year out of anyone in the company.
Yeah.
Like, dude's a trooper.
Also speaks to why he gets paid the way he does.
But not as much as Roman.
Yeah. But Roman's the big dog.
Oh, I can't wait to see him not win at Extreme Rules.
Well, at least that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, because he's not winning, because Finn is. Let's actually review some things. Monday Night Raw. It was a bit piss. Like, what happened? Start off with a Bray promo. Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. I told you I missed Raw. I have to kind of remember what parts of Raw there was. Okay. I have no reason to watch Raw if it bored. I looked at the results of the matches.
I do. My one reason is Joe, Finn, Seth, Bray.
I mean, yeah,
I have more than one reason.
Right, I guess.
I have a couple reasons. The Hardys, Revival's coming back soon.
Yeah.
Because I think the storyline's going to be Revival attacked Enzo.
Yeah.
Unless they swerve everyone and have it be Cass, which I doubt.
I'm just ready for them to split, honestly. I was feeling it in the beginning, but it's just something. It just seemed I don't know why. It just more and more Enzo has been sticking out more like a sore thumb in the ring. And I didn't notice it as much as NXT for some reason because I guess I just like them too much. But more and more, he has just been sticking out like a sore thumb.
No, well, with NXT, it's a lot smaller of a roster that you see consistently. So you feel with the characters more. And the way you feel with Enzo more is, okay, he's the mouthpiece. He gets in someone's head. He's not meant to be there to get in a fight.
Yeah.
And then Cass is the one that does the heavy lifting, I guess.
Yeah.
Enzo's a massive heel if you think about it. Cass does all his dirty work. Literally.
I mean, yeah, I guess essentially. I mean, I guess he's like, I mean, he's that bad guy that everyone loves. I guess kind of like Eddie Guerrero, but except Eddie Guerrero actually fought his battles, I guess.
Yeah,
cheat, steal,
Eddie was likable because he flat out admitted, I'm gonna lie, I'm gonna cheat, and I'm gonna steal, but I'm still gonna beat you.
Yeah.
At least he admitted it. Although, to be fair, Enzo did kind of try and steal Rusev's wife. And he was meant to be the face.
I'm just glad they completely eliminated that storyline, because it just wasn't making any sense at all.
It's WWE, nothing makes sense.
But that made absolutely no sense. Like that just made none. Okay, so you're gonna be the face, and what we want you to do is, Enzo, the story is that you're trying to get with Lana,
But
an
she's
already
married
married
to
woman.
Rusev.
Yep, an already married woman, and we want you to flirt with her at a hotel, and the fans are gonna like it. They're gonna love it.
No, that was the thing, right? She was flirting with him. He didn't go through with it till the very end, and then Rusev magically showed up.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Something about it was just really funny. It's the face. It's the look on his face whenever he sees Rusev. It's just complete and utter terror.
Yeah, because he's like in his underwear at this point.
Yeah.
From what I remember of those segments from like however many months ago it was.
Yeah. And he just gets gets completely beaten down in his underwear.
Yeah.
And then he gets drugged and thrown out the hotel room.
And then it's
Machka!
I hope he comes back and beats the living hell out of Jinder Mahal.
You see, this is the
because
stuff that
it's Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
I swear, I have like the heat you have for Zack Ryder, I have for Jinder Mahal. But mine's like more worth it. Mine makes sense.
I just don't like Zack because I think he's a bad wrestler.
To be fair, Jinder knocked out Finn Balor, and then like a week later he got a title match. Like he became #1 contender. It made no sense.
That's because Vince, he's reminded by the good old days when he looks at Jinder. He's like, oh, I remember back in the days when all the wrestlers were well over 6 foot. I remember Kevin Nash and Big Show and Triple H.
What,
and Jinder, you remind me of that.
Huh? They were all white back then. Jinder's a little bit Asian.
Well, he's muscular though.
Fair point. If you're muscular enough, Vince loses his white thing.
Like who's the other guy? Gosh, why do I always go freaking blank? With the fancy mustache, the great
Muda.
The Iron Sheik.
Oh, Sheik.
That's his name. He was pretty free. I mean, well, then again, everybody. Just know this: wrestlers in the 1980s, all of them were on cocaine, and almost all of them were on cocaine and steroids. Like Iron Sheik is on record, has stated that he did cocaine and steroids. Him and a couple people. They were just chilling in a hotel.
Most of the locker room.
Yeah, most of the locker room.
Honestly, pro wrestling hasn't always been the best thing, like backstage. Nowadays, it's apparently really, really good. Back then, everyone wanted you dead, and they all did drugs.
Pretty much. And things kind of toned down in the 90s, but the only time that steroids completely calmed down was after Chris Benoit. I'm not sure if anyone knows who that is, because he's like, well, no, he's infamous.
Chris Benoit?
That's
wrestling
also
joke.
A wrestling joke. Because what he did was so bad, it's like WWE doesn't even acknowledge their existence. Like Chris Benoit is like worse than TNA, maybe.
Okay,
no,
I'll bite the bullet. I'll explain this because I have very quote-unquote controversial opinions about the situation. It's not. I just say it like this. Chris Benoit was one of the best wrestlers that ever lived, straight up. What he did outside of the ring was terrible. What he did inside the ring was always really good. But pretty much he had a series of very bad concussions. And it never got treated properly, and he did a little bit of drugs on the side, I believe. And he wound up killing his son and wife and himself. In a double murder-suicide. And since then, WWE have, if you keep up with anything, brought in their WWE Network system. And especially since that, if you search up Chris Benoit, you get nothing. Which is why people say Chris Benoit never existed. So it became a joke of Chris Ben who, because no one knows who he was, because he never existed.
Yeah, because even when I first got into wrestling in 2009, when the first wrestling encyclopedia came out by WWE, nothing. Nada. Not anything about Chris Benoit in that encyclopedia ever. I remember it came out in 2009, I got it for my birthday, but yep, not a thing about him.
And it's simply due to PR reasons. And obviously, like, I have my opinion of it's difficult, but if you look at it in the right light, you can separate what he did from everything else he did in the ring. It's difficult, I'll admit that, but it is possible. And I respect him for what he did in the ring, but what he did to his family and to himself and all that, that's why he's never going to go in any Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, what he said. Like, he said it the best way that it could possibly be said.
That's the best way I can say it without accidentally technically saying I agree with him murdering people.
Some people argue that, have you heard about, I guess, the sketchy background of Carlos Colon?
No.
Senior? Well, apparently, I don't know. I heard this from a friend who's also really into wrestling, but he knows more about the history than I do. Apparently, he has something to do with the murder of Bruiser Body.
Well, all the odd wrestlers, like,
details.
most of them have, like, weird, like, the Jimmy Snuka stuff.
Yeah.
Like, once again, it's a situation where WWE are completely double standard with this. Because it's... Jimmy Snuka was a guy from the early 90s, I believe. 90s. I want to say it was the 90s. And straight up, all signs to him killing his girlfriend. They all point to him killing his girlfriend back then. But he never got done in for it. They brought up the trial last year. Again. All signs pointed to him killing her again. But he couldn't stand trial, so they could never do him for it.
Yeah, he wasn't, competent or whatever.
Yeah, and he died like a couple weeks later.
Yep, that's pretty much what happened.
Pretty much, if you look into it, all signs point to him that, yeah, he did it. Like, straight. Like, everything says he did. But he's in WWE's Hall of Fame, and they respected him, they gave him a video package. They still talk about him now. And they have... It's like the China thing.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's pretty much like... WWE, like, wrestling is fun. Like, WWE is, like, not one of the biggest. WWE is the biggest professional wrestling company ever. But they have done some pretty sketchy things. And China is probably one of the most sketchiest things, to be completely honest. Like, that whole situation.
It's not sketchy.
You can't...
It's not sketchy on the company's part. It's sketchy on Triple H's part. The company is just completely double standard.
Yeah.
Because Sonny's still in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Like, it's you can't call that situation anything but messed up. Like,
I don't think it's messed up. Like, China went on to do what she wanted to do with her life. You know, personal choices.
Yeah.
Sonny did the exact same thing after being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And WWE's, like, their reason as to why China's never going to go in is because if you Google China, you get adult videos.
Yeah.
If you Google Sonny, you get adult videos. It's the exact same thing. They just don't do it because Triple H was going out with China and then cheated on China with Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, that's the thing that's really messed up. So it's literally like this. Okay, so I'm working for my boss or whatever, and my boss's daughter is dating someone. Not my boss's daughter, but the person who's working for the boss is dating someone. And then he goes off and he's like, screw you, I'm gonna cheat on you, and I'm gonna go date the boss's daughter. And then they end up getting married.
Having chillins.
Having chitlins and stuff. You know what that is, right? Anyways.
Yeah, that's why I made the reference.
Yeah. And after
they
they
not
get
know
married,
what that is and make the reference.
After having chillins and everything, the guy who cheats on the girl and dates the boss's daughter goes on to be the head of the company.
Nearly head of the company. He's the COO.
Yeah, basically nearly head of the company.
When Vince dies, he'll be the head of the company. Because Vince isn't retiring.
He isn't retiring, but like whenever he whenever that happens, not wishing that happens or anything, just saying more than likely whenever that happens, he will be in charge.
Although, if Shane's still around, the company's going to be in a massive power struggle.
Yeah,
because you know Shane is going to push.
Yeah, because that's another thing too. He has Stephanie, or I guess the boss's daughter, as we are referring to her, if you're not completely familiar with all the wrestling jargon and names. And things.
Stephanie is her real name.
I mean, yeah, I know. It's just that everyone may not know who she is. Like, if you check out the podcast just because, this wrestling stuff sounds like some interesting stuff, but you have no idea what it is.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. We're just going to refer to her as
the boss's daughter, the jackass, which will be Triple H.
Yep.
and the disowned son, because that's what Shane is.
He essentially is that. So basically, Shane is Vince McMahon's son. But back in 2010, he went off to do his own business things. I guess he wanted to make his own money.
No, that was a reason
And
for
he
that.
just, huh?
That was a reason for that. That was because Linda, Vince's wife, was originally the CEO of the company. She quit, and Shane assumed he would get the role, but then Vince gave it to himself.
Oh,
So he
I
walked
didn't
out.
know that.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
because
wow.
Vince gave a bunch of hints saying he was going to give it to Shane, but he gave it to himself instead.
Oh, wow.
And to be fair, Shane should have got it because he had the bright idea of, let's buy the UFC.
Yeah. Even though that's a weird thing, considering that even though we referred to this in the beginning, that we're not calling WWE fake, we're just saying that they're two totally different things.
They're two different sports.
The way how I it may not sound the best, but I feel as if like WWE wrestlers are like actors in the movie or the TV show that do their own stunts, except they actually touch each other. Because when Steve Austin did a movie, he said that he was so used to hitting people that whenever he exited an action movie, he mistakenly hit someone because that's just what he was used to when he was wrestling. The choreographed moves.
Yeah. Whereas in MMA, they just beat the living hell out of each other.
Yeah.
They beat each other up and get a paycheck. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's essentially what
Whereas
that
in
is.
wrestling, it's very much, okay, you're winning. How are we going to get from here to your win? And then they either plan it out beforehand. Like, some people are very well known to do that. Or they make it up on the fly.
Yeah. And that's where storylines and all that stuff come into play, and how they write the story and everything. And how there can be really terrible story writing. And sometimes they just throw matches together to kind of be like, okay, we don't know what we're doing here, and we don't know how to stretch this out, so let's just throw that there,
Like the situation on Raw right now with Extreme Rules. Now they don't know how to bide their time between
And
now
that's
and the
called
pay-per-view. Yeah, that
Yeah.
whenever, because this is going to be a more than one-off thing, because, yeah, if we ever mention booking, that is how they have a wrestler portrayed on TV, how much times they win, how many they lose, and, like, their matches, who they're feuding with at the time. That's all booking. Surprisingly, you don't have to read.
Do you want to kind of sum it up with a specific subject, or just
Is there a big... What's it?
I mean, unless you wanted to talk about Adam Cole, baby, even though everyone's not familiar with him, it doesn't matter. It's whatever you want to do.
Screw it.
End
Let's
it
talk
off
about the
on.
Panama City Playboy.
Is that his other name?
That's one of his nicknames.
I didn't even know that.
I don't think he uses it anymore. I think it was before he joined Bullet Club. And now his nickname is just Bebe.
Oh.
Because he's Adam Cole, Bebe.
We should refer to that too, since it kind of blends WWE as well, because people that watch WWE are more familiar with Heath Slater and Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Do you want to end off on that note? Talk about his signing? And
What,
people
has he
should look
signed?
out for him or whatever? No, I'm saying we should talk. Do you want to talk about his signing and people should look out for him or whatever
definitely.
if they're not familiar about him?
Yeah,
You
definitely.
can start on that whenever you want.
Anyway, so I'm just going to start straight away because I don't want an awkward thing like that intro because, oh my god. I haven't done, not going to lie, I haven't done an intro in so long. I know how to do them properly, I swear. But I can't remember the last time I actually had to do an intro. So I was kind of like, I forgot how to English. I nearly said something in Spanish. And I've never taken a lesson of Spanish, but somehow I know some decent Spanish. Anyway, so if people watch the independent circuit in the world of professional wrestling, there is people who are signed to different companies. Like guys who are signed to WWE, they're WWE owned. Guys who sign with New Japan, they're owned by New Japan, but they can go off and do different things. And then there's this weird middle ground called free agency. And the hottest free agent in all of wrestling right now is a man called Adam Cole.
From ROH, which is also where CM Punk's Dan Brown came from. But can continue.
Sorry, do you have something to say? Like,
No, I was just saying that's where CM Punk and Daniel Bryan came from, just in case
oh,
y'all were
and
wondering.
AJ Styles was there, Samoa Joe
Yep.
was there, Austin
Yep.
Aries was
Seth
there, Finn
Rollins.
Balor was there, Seth Rollins was
Basically
there, Dean Ambrose was
almost,
there.
yeah.
I can keep going.
Yeah, pretty much almost all the top guys that you're looking at right now. More
McIntyre
than
was
likely,
there,
at
Almas
some
was
point.
probably there, Rude was probably there, Strong was there, Skull was there, Kenny Omega's been there, Shinsuke was probably there, Okada's probably
He
been
was
there.
at some point.
So all of these guys have to have been at some point. Like,
Yeah,
Jesus.
pretty much.
Like, there's no way they haven't at this point.
Yeah, that's why we say you should try to check out ROH.
Pete Dunne's probably been there.
Yeah,
Mustache
and
Mountain's
JBW.
probably been there. Who else? I'm trying to think. Who are the main eventers? Gargano's probably been there. Ciampa's probably been there. I've run out.
I mean, I don't know. I can't think of any others.
I'm blind. Who else? I want to keep this joke going.
I don't know.
I want to keep the joke going. Who else? Kevin Owens has probably been there. No, Kevin Owens has been there. Sami Zayn has been there. Come on, main event.
Jinder Mahal is probably.
No. No. He hasn't. He's not allowed.
He's not allowed to be
No.
at the
No.
honor of ring. The honor of ring.
The Hardy Boys have been there. The Young Bucks are there. This joke has to... There's no way this joke... Cassius Ohno has been there. Aleister Black has been there.
It has to end at some point because we have to get to the point.
I gotta end it at a
about
solid, like,
Adam
40.
Cole.
I'm, like, one away from, like, a solid... This rounding off is another 10. I want to say it's, like, 40 now. Who else? Eric Young has been there. Bam. I got, like, 40 or something. I'm proud of myself. Like, strangely proud of myself.
I just got 40 or something. I don't even know if it was that much. But
I don't know. It was more than 10. More than 20, I think. It might have been 20. 20 is my minimum. I'm saying I got a minimum of 20.
But yeah, basically all your indie guys most definitely have been in ROH. And a bunch of... Like, the funny thing is that people used to refer to Daniel Bryan as the indie guy, but, like, Daniel Bryan was, like... Him and CM Punk are a big reason that you are seeing what you are seeing now.
Yeah, if Punk and Bryan didn't get as over as they did, places like New Japan, Ring of Honor, WCPW, you know, World of Sport, when that comes back on the air, if it even does, 5-star, CZW technically, ICW, all these other indie promotions wouldn't have hit stardom like they did without these two guys being at the front of the line.
I mean, yeah, because, I mean, before then, it was just all about the big guys, the big muscular guys, you know, the WWE made guys.
That's where, you know, the joke, Cena wins LOL in the wrestling community came from, if you ever see that around. It's not as popular now, I don't think. I think right now the current thing is ... dive and ... headlock.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess the John Cena, that, like, you know, I couldn't see
the meme.
blah, 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 blah.
The meme.
Yeah, that one's kind of popular still right now, too.
That shows up every once in a while. That raises its head. And anyway, so at the forefront of all, like, the free agency stuff, there's this man. He's a man, like I said, called Adam Cole. And he was the co-leader of the New Japan group, the Bullet Club. He's essentially the hottest free agent in the world of professional wrestling today. And everyone's wondering where he's going to wind up. Okay, I'll keep going.
I mean, if you want to, you know. But yeah, pretty much everyone is looking at where... Oh, yeah, and this also may be a reason why. I'm pretty sure if you watch WWE, you're familiar with your lovable jobber, Heath Slater, who kind of, like, got a little, I guess, tag team run for a little while. But anyways, you know, he used to say, "Heath Slater, baby!" when he comes out. But the thing is that Heath Slater...
Caught that.
Huh?
I think my microphone caught your baby. I think it picked it up from my earphone. Oh, that's amazing.
But yeah, he says that, and then but Chris Jericho used to say it too, but he said it like differently. Like he didn't say Chris Jericho, baby. He would just like end stuff with baby. But anyways, Adam Cole is he uses baby as well, and he used it after Chris and Heath Slater used baby. But the difference between Heath Slater and Adam Cole is that Adam Cole is one of the hottest free agents right now, and he's a world title winner, and more than likely he'll end up being a main event star. Heath Slater, he doesn't exactly Yeah,
To be
I think that kind
fair,
of speaks.
to Heath Slater, he wasn't the worst part of 3MB. That was Jinder Mahal.
I see. I see. He's trying to find another reason to bring up about Ginger.
I hate him so much. Legit, I have heat with the man and I've never met him. I'm sure he's a perfectly nice Canadian man, but I don't like him.
Do you want to end on the note of your hate for
Oh,
actually no, you can end on that. You would just talk about that forever if you ended on that.
I can't mention Jinder Mahal. Okay. So, the big thing surrounding Adam Cole, because I need something to get my mind off Jinder, is one of the three main companies he's going to wind up with for the foreseeable future. And that being WWE and their NXT branch, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and as much as no one considers them to be top guys anymore, they still technically are, Anthem's Impact. Because he is the hottest free agent in wrestling today. And when... Yeah?
Oh, no, I was just about to say that. And more than likely, you will almost... No. I can guarantee you more than likely you will never hear us talk about Impact because Impact is just... It's just complete garbage now.
Impact used to be good, but then
it used to be.
Their main event... Their proper, like, top-tier main event talents all left them. Mike Bennett, Matt and Jeff, Drew. Those four guys alone were the top of the card. Cody's not there anymore because he can't be.
Yeah.
Like, the top 5 guys of their card just kind of left.
Yeah, pretty much. And all that happened because Anthem was just they were just doing a lot of unprofessional crap. Like they were supposed to be sending contracts in at certain points and they weren't. And I guess at a certain point when so many people were leaving because of the unprofessionalism, at another point they saw, okay, you know, the ship is sinking. The ship
Here we
is
go.
sinking.
We got it eventually.
It's probably best that we go on and head out.
Which is why guys like the Hardys came back to WWE, why Drew McIntyre, I'm probably still going to call him Galloway from now on, but still, while McIntyre came back to the company, why Mike Bennett has reportedly signed with the company.
Him and Maria, you guys are probably familiar with Maria, but Mike Bennett is now, you know, that's her husband.
And now Adam Cole is kind of at this weird point in his career where he hasn't taken indie bookings, meaning he's not doing the independent circuit except for one date this month. But he hasn't announced a signing with the company. Meaning the big debate right now, other than anything to do with Jinder, which is actually true, I'm not just bringing up Jinder again for the sake of it, is where he's going to go. Because he's not going to go to Impact. I'll be shocked if he goes to Impact. I'd laugh as well, because it'd be funny. But he has... I stated
what I had said. He had made this joke about big Bullet Club star signs to TNA Impact.
You mentioned it and I was like, tomorrow's headline, former Bullet Club star signs with Anthem's Impact Wrestling.
And then my response to that was it's not like what I said was I have morning sickness and I'm not even pregnant.
Yeah, it gave you, because the Impact's just terrible. To be fair, yeah. Adam Cole would give me a reason to watch Impact again.
I don't even think I would watch it then.
I would, because it's Adam Cole, baby. Baby.
No, I'm sorry.
To be fair,
he couldn't even save TNA for me.
The only reason I would ever watch Impact at this point is Moose, and I'm not even sure if he's still signed with the company. He might be.
I think he is.
Because Moose is talent.
He feuded with Cody for a little while. After the whole the huge change had happened or whatever, the first official episode, whenever I saw the first results of the Impact taping after everyone had left, I was like, oh, I already know that I won't be following this. I was at least going to give it a chance for a good month, but after I saw all the comments on the segments and the matches, I was just like, oh nope, I see that I'm done with Impact or TNA or whatever the heck they want to call themselves now.
It's Impact now. They've rebranded as Impact. I think their Twitter's called Impact now as well. They've erased TNA.
Yeah, but hopefully Adam Cole will be going that direction.
Yeah, because he has essentially 2 careers lined up in front of him. 3 if he wants to go to Impact for some reason. Whatever reason he would have to go to Impact, I'll never know. He might, you don't know. He might be really good friends with Jeff Jarrett. But he might be. We don't know. But if he goes to New Japan, he'll sign for a year. And he'll have a feud with Kenny Omega. And then when the Elite leave, because their contracts wind up in a year, he'll probably leave with them. And then they'll all jump ship to WWE anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what's happening. Because Omega, I think everyone said Omega was going to go WWE. But then the Young Bucks were like, don't just wait a year because we have a year in our contracts, we'll all go over together. I feel like that's what happened. Well, like someone reported that like that's essentially what happened, and that's why he's with New Japan still.
Yeah.
Or Cole will go to WWE and essentially be the next, I would assume, heel.
And
NXT
he'll
champion.
replace Roderick Strong, because if anyone is not familiar with his history, Roderick Strong is known as Mr. ROH. But I will say this 1,000 times if need be. He may be Mr. ROH, but who needs old generic Roderick Strong when you have the first ever 3-time ROH champion, Adam Cole, baby!
Oh, my microphone didn't pick that one up.
Huh?
My microphone didn't pick that one up.
Oh.
Got it the first time. That's the only time I think I'll ever pick it up now.
Like Roderick Strong for being boring, for having a very generic haircut, for looking like Wrestler B, not even Wrestler C on a WWE video game, for having absolutely no personality and or character.
But he has a damn good finisher. You have to admit the end of Heartache is pretty damn cool. Like, can you not admit that End of Heartache is pretty cool?
It's a pretty good finisher, but it's like Hideo. Then again, no, it's not like Hideo Itami, because Hideo Itami, like the fact that that's
at least Hideo Itami has a gimmick. Like, Strong's gimmick isn't even the End of Heartache. Strong's gimmick is just I can wrestle. At least Hideo Itami has a gimmick. Granted, the gimmick might be GTS.
Do you want me to like say something overly?
We can continue. I want like continue with what you were gonna say in slamming Roderick Strong.
Okay. Well, anyway, what I was essentially saying was Roderick Strong has made my list. If you're familiar with WWE, you're familiar with Chris Jericho's list, the list of Jericho.
Which, by the way, you can buy on the WWEshop.com right now.
Yes. For a very, I think it's a whopping $25, maybe more. I'm not sure.
No, it's not more than a t-shirt. It's like 15. I don't believe it's more than a t-shirt.
But you could buy a list of Jericho, the list of Jericho, which is also, I see it as the gift of Jericho. Drink it in, man. But anyways, Roderick Strong is on my list. I'm just going to end it off on this. Roderick Strong for being absolutely boring, for being just you're essentially, your gimmick is being a dad at this point, for just having the worst haircut. Just the most generic haircut, and for having garbage mic skill. You know what? You have multiple reasons for being on my list, and I'm not going to state all of them. But Roderick Strong, you just made the list.
You had way
that
too
is the
fun.
sound of me writing on my palm.
Is your hand going to be your list now? It's 18 Great British Pounds. I googled it. The list of Jericho right now for 18 Great British Pounds. You can buy a clipboard from WWE.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you wanna, all of a sudden I'm an advertiser for WWE. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to purchase yourself a list of Jericho, it is 18 pounds or $25 in US dollars, and you can be able to put anyone that you want on your list. Maybe there's a guy in the street. He looks funny. Put him on the list. Maybe you see some girl. Hey, she denied you a date. Put her on the list. Hey, your boss is being a jerk again. Put him on the list.
Can I interject real quick? Can I interject real quick?
You can if you want to. Get on.
Jinder Mahal wins the WWE Championship. Put him on the damn list and burn him. You don't deserve it. And that's how we're ending this. That's how we're ending this. Burn Jinder Mahal because WWE gave him the title. Not because he's a bad guy. Not because he's like Asian or anything. Because he's a champion and he shouldn't be. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this has been Marking Out. And I'm done. I've ranted about Jinder. I'm done. Goodbye.
Bye.